All right, beautiful people. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. My Carmex on my lips. And I should have grabbed my water. Let me get it real quick. I take Belinda Brown. You president ready to partake? Yesterday, Malcolm JB. Hana. Shalom, shalom, sis. All right, beautiful people. It is Monday, August the 29th, 2022. Day 198 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1216. And today we are picking up on page 531. Father, you are the greatest place and source of rest, physically and spiritually. So let's get started straight away here. Okay, so today we're starting in the second book of the book of Safa. It's the tablet of being, B-I-E-N-E. Okay, and under it, in parentheses, it has poit, P-O-I-T. Okay, Asu, panic. A man in aboriginal state before he used words, before he congregated, a very young child, one that knows no word of expression. The race of man in its first stage as applied to corpore, the earth. That's what Asu is. Asu is a panic word, and this is what Asu was. A man in aboriginal state. Okay. Asu, the first habitable age. A circle with a central point, according to the place of Asu on the tablets, so shall the interpreters understand. Poit. Masu, panic. With words came war. In congregating men, the liberty of one interfered with another. Masu, ki. Global Purpose, Grand Rising, Miss Amazing Wonder, Shalom. Lavon, Tikva, hey girls, hey. The top for that? Did you check them? What, is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Make sure it didn't fall to the bottom. And if it's not in the air, somebody putting stuff up must have threw it in one of these down here. I don't know exactly. Okay. Verse 2, page 531. Masu, panic. With words came war. In congregating men, the liberty of one interfered with another. Masu, kill. A circle with the 4 evil corners. Let no man say, I will not sow on the earth, lest I be bound. But be ye fruitful and multiply, for this is the fullness of the earth and heaven. Abraham. The symbol of Masu was given to the married, but to the barren the high priest gave spe, gal. Jehovah said, call not any man evil, but call ye him unripe fruit. Cosmon. Y'all remember we read that, right? Ripe and unripe. Because man cut himself off from me and chose war, condemn him not, but deliver ye him. Moses. Exu, panic. You know what? Hold on. Before we get too much further, let me just make sure we're supposed to be lining this up with another plate, like the previous chapter. Because this is what it looks like. Ooh, we are, look. The very next page, yeah, tablet of Be'im. Page 533 is the tablet. And at the bottom, okay, here's what the tablet looks like. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Okay, so this tablet right here. And it starts down here with Asu, the symbol for Asu. All right. I'll take a picture of it after we're done and share it. But if you got it, just kind of follow along. Okay. I'm glad I thought about that. Because it's like the same like the previous chapter with the chart and the definitions of the symbols. Okay. So let's go back because we didn't get that far. Okay. Asu, the symbol for Asu is a circle with a smaller darkened circle in the middle, right? So kind of like literally looks like my eye. See the white in my eye and the black dot in the middle? It literally looks just like that, but the black in the middle of the circle is a little bit smaller. That's Asu. Asu, panic. A man in aboriginal state before he used words, before he congregated. A very young child, one that knows no word of expression. The race of man in its first age, as applied to corpore, the earth. Asu, the first habitable age, a circle with a central point. According to the place of Asu on the tablets, so shall the interpreters understand. Poet. Masu, panic, is the second one. And it's that same circle with the dot in the middle, but it literally has like 4 points going to it. The 4 points are not, oh yeah. Okay, so you got the round circle and the 4 points that's coming down in like the corners. You know, the navigation points, north, south, east, and west, right? They're not in those points. They're like in between those. So like diagonally coming from the circle. They're touching the circle coming out, but not necessarily touching the dot in the middle. So that's what it looked like. So it's the circle with a small circle with the diagonal lines coming towards the circle. And that's Masu, panic. With words came war. In congregating men, the liberty of one interfered with another. Masu, ki, a circle with the 4 evil corners. Okay, that's what they call the evil corners. The ones that come in diagonally. Tabitha, shalom, shalom. Masu, ki, a circle with the 4 evil corners. Let no man say, I will not sow on the earth, lest I be bound. But be ye fruitful and multiply, for this is the fullness of the earth and heaven. Abraham. The symbol of Masu was given to the married, but to the barren, the high priest gave spe, gal. Jehovah said, call not any man evil, but call ye him unripe fruit, Cosmogony. Because man cut himself off from me and chose war, condemn him not, but deliver ye him. Moses. Okay, so the third sign is Exu, which is panic. And you have that same circle with the dot in the middle, but the dot in the middle is even smaller. And at the 4 evil corners, they're no longer just lines. They're actually X's in the 4 evil corners. Okay. And it says Exu, panic. Nation against nation, a symbol of threat. One king against another. And Ramaeus sent the symbol of a circle with 4 cross corners and a point over all the earth. Vede. The next symbol is Uksa, panic. So you have that same circle with the dot in the middle, and the dot is even smaller, and around the dot is another circle that you can see. It's a circle within a circle. It's not fully black, and then it's just a dot with a circle around it within a bigger circle. You still have the 4 evil corners in the circle, but now also the 4 evil corners, the X's are all circled. So the dot is circled and the 4 X's in the corners are circled as well. All right, and that's Uksa, panic. Standing armies. Is not justice accorded to him who is mightiest, Fus. They not only wage war, but in times of peace, they maintain armies ready for more war. Come, therefore, away from them, ye that have faith in Jehovah, and I will deliver you into another country. Abraham, rather than that ye be impressed in war, come whither I will lead and dwell in peace. Brahma, a symbol of standing armies. Gal. The fifth one is Ugad or Ugad. It's spelled differently. UGH apostrophe GAD or Ugad. U apostrophe GHAD. And that's panic. And then, go ahead. Okay, so now this circle is, okay, it's not missing a dot in the middle. It's there, but it looks like it's even smaller. And the four evil corners are now no longer in the four evil corners. They've rotated, and now they're in the navigation positions, north, south, east, and west. And they're tightly close together, still with the circles around them, with the black dot in the middle. But the black dot in the middle, you can't see that circle around it. You just see it squished in the middle with the other 4 points. Ugad or Ugad, panic, a war to establish a certain God, GHAD, and then box parentheses is, square brackets is GOD. A war to establish a certain God. Ye not only desire to make slaves of men on earth, but to bind them under your God after death. Creosha to the Droops. They fight for the king, being his slaves. They fight for their God, GHAD, being his vermin, Brahma. An evil man saith, I will war for Egypt, for this is my country. But I say unto you, all countries are Jehovah's. Moses. Be not slaves to any country, nor to any king, nor to any god, but serve the Great Spirit. Abraham. A nationality, a symbol. Gal. Okay, so the next one is Orton. ORT apostrophe N, and that's panic. And that says by the sea or sea land. And this one is, this is the same circle with the navigation points that moved. They're still in the north, south, east, west position, but they look like they've expanded a little bit more, and you can't even tell that there's a black dot in the middle of those anymore. And with that, you have like 3 cross symbols, one to like the northeast of the top one, and then to the southeast. Okay, so the cross at the top is in the evil corner up here. The cross below it is in the evil corner over here. And the other one is not right in the evil corner, is almost more at 6 o'clock, maybe like 6:05. Okay, 6. Okay, when I say 6, not 6:05, because that would be like, no. Okay, so you got like the 6 point, and maybe just like, you know how between on the clock on 6, with 6 and 7, you got the tick marks. So it's probably like maybe like the 3rd tick mark after 6. Okay. Y'all get it. And that is Orton, panic, by the sea or sea land. 7 is a circle with it's like a bracket coming out. It's coming out from the east, coming down to the south, but not all the way to the south, just like halfway, like in the middle. Say it actually kind of looks like the time on the clock with the shorthand coming up from the 6, going all the way over to the 3, like all the way to the end of the circle. But the one straight up and down to the 6 doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So it's like a short line going up, then long horizontally to the east. That's 7. That's Ortem, panic, by the forest or forest land. 8 is Alf, ALF. That's panic, a new beginning. Those that were delivered from evil spirits were given Aleph as a sign of power, Poit. Aleph was a gift of the high priest, Zarathustra, a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. When a man desires to reform himself from drunkenness, the Miji gave him Aleph, a strengthening symbol, Brahma. And that one is exactly the opposite of the previous one, with the shorter line coming from the 6 o'clock position, going all the way over to the 9 o'clock position. So a short line and long line over. All right, so that's Aleph. I mean, Alf. What's still Aleph in Hebrew? All right. All right, so the 9th symbol is like a percent sign. No, not necessarily a percent sign. It looked more like 2 music notes back to back, upside down. So you got, how you have like a music note? Look like what's that? A B? No, that's a D. A D, and then it has like a P, and they're sideways. So you have like one here, a little circle here at the end of this end, and a circle up here at the end of this end. All right, and that's called ega panic, or ego in Latin. I, myself in English. A profile, what? Hold on, let me make sure I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, they said that is a profile of the eye and ear. An emblem of the sounds I and E, gal, or I and E, or E or G, 2 equivalents to portrait of the eye, and hieroglyphs are radical. The eye and the ear. I can see the eyes. I don't see the ear, but that's what it looked like. It's like that, the music notes. Go ahead. Put that in the microwave. That bowl's in my. The bowl. Put it in the microwave. When you get done, if you're about to heat something up. Check the symbols off by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Mesu. Hold on. Oh, and it's under it. I love. Hold on. Oh, you know what? Instead of counting, I should be just looking at the word under it. You're right. I am off 1. But it's, hold up. 1, 2, 3. Did I write my numbers right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Uksa. 5. Ugad. 6. We're missing 6. 7 or 10. 8 or. We're missing 1. Okay, so I gave you the wrong symbols. The one that I gave you with the, hold on, Ugad, it goes from Ugad to E. It looks like Eol, E-O-L. Okay, so it's an extra symbol in here that it doesn't give us a definition for here in the book. Let me highlight this. You're right. I'm glad I looked up this one. Or did we? Am I not seeing? Hold on. We definitely missing one, right? Y'all just looking? The one, E-O-L. Eolim. E-O-L apostrophe M. Yeah, yeah, it's an extra one? Okay. All right, so I described it wrong now. Okay, so or 10 is, hold on, let me fix my numbers. I gotta pay attention to that. 6. Well, maybe I'll number it. Let me make myself a note. Numbered according to verses. Highlight it. Make myself a note, because when I come back, I'm like, wait a minute, and I'll be trying to think about this again. Highlighted one is an extra symbol not listed. Okay. I'll fix my numbers now. 6, and this is 7. This is 8. Okay. Okay, so 5, Ugad, with the symbol of the circle with the 4 X's in the north, south, east, and west that are really close together where you can still slightly see the tiny black dot. That's Ugad, right? And so then the next one, 6, Ordum. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ordum. Okay, so if you don't have it, you remember the ones that I said that are really close together and it doesn't have the black dot, but it has 3 crosses, one up here like northeast and down here in like the evil corner, and then just slightly over from the 6. That one doesn't have a definition in here yet that we can see. So we should have skipped that one, but that's Eolim, EOL''M. And so 6, Orton, is actually the line coming out from the 3 o'clock position down to the 6. Or Tim with the M is the one coming from the 6 o'clock position over to the 9. And then you have 8, Alf, and that is that was the one that the line is this way. It looked like music notes, right? One coming down here and one up here on this side. And that says, Alf, panic, a new beginning. Those that were delivered from evil spirits were given the Aleph as a sign of power, poi. Aleph was a gift of the high priest, Zarathustra, a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. When a man desires to reform himself from drunkenness, the Magi gave him Aleph, a strengthening symbol, Brahma. And so 9 is Iga, I-G-A. And that is, I can't really tell it. Okay. It's a circle, and okay, so it has a G at the 6 o'clock position, but the G is kind of rotated a little bit where it's diagonally at the 6 o'clock position, and above it, it's like a capital A, but it's sideways right above the G, right? The G is diagonal this way, and the A, instead of standing upright, is horizontal like this. And right here in this position is faded, but it looks like a C, but the C is facing up like a U. It looks like a C. Could possibly be. All right, so that is Iga, panic, or ego in Latin. I, myself, English. A profile of the eye and ear. An emblem of the sounds of I, which is AI, and E, gal, or I, and E, or G. 2 equivalents to portrait of an eye. I'm sorry, to portray. Love you too, son. 2 equivalents to portray. What? To portrait? That's not portray, that's portrait. 2 equivalents to portrait of an eye. And hieroglyphs are radical. Okay. The 10th one is Om. And that is, okay, it's like a diamond. Okay, so you know a diamond is shaped like this, right? I'm trying to describe it for people who don't have it. But the diamond, instead of coming down to 4 sharp corners, is more like the corners, instead of coming straight down, they're more like curved going out. So you have this curve going out here and this curve for this side and this curve for this side, and this curve for this side, and this curve for this side. So it's still a diagonal, but instead of the straight lines, it's curves going out, right? And in the middle of that diamond is a cross. Yeah. And the corners where it meets, they're bold. So okay, so the corners where they meet, it's like another curve like the corners. So the corners, the four corners of the diamond, these sides right here, they're, instead of, like I said, instead of straight, they're curved like this. But also at the points of those diamonds, you have another curve like bull horns or U at the tip. So you got the tip of the points, and that also has a curve, right? So around the diamond, you have curves like this. Okay. And that is panic, the negative of Jehovah, the female, that projecteth is positive, that receiveth is negative, gal. Let those that desire to receive spiritually ask of and those that go forth in might return thanks by going forth. Spiritual gifts come not by going forth with might, but by waiting in supplication, Brahma. Nevertheless, the all one is but one, but with two attributes, Cosmon. Hold on. Nevertheless, the all one is but one, but with two attributes, Cosmon. Brahma said, O give thou to my soul, O Eolin. I am going forth to labor. Be thou with me, Vede. The ever-present the ever-present Eloah said, two attributes gave I, the all-self to every man's self, the and the Na, negative and positive, that he might hold discourse within himself, Vede. In seeking a wife, see to it that is her transcendent virtue. Otherwise, she will be as a thorn in thy side, Abraham. Until a man have in the ascendant, he shall not hear nor see the great spirit, Zarathustra. Oh, wow, look. Let me highlight this. Hold on. That's like another level of everything that you see on multiple levels, right? You have that within yourself, but also male and female have those two attributes separately. So when they come together, there is another part of the whole, right? Okay. Let me read it. Let me just read this over again. Hold on. And I didn't even finish. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. 10. Remember, that's the curved points for the diamond. Okay. Panic. The negative of Jehovah, the female, that projecteth is positive, that receiveth is negative, gal. Let those that desire to receive spiritually ask of and those that go forth in might return thanks to Eolin, Zarathustra. Power cometh not by supplication, but by going forth. Spiritual gifts come not by going forth with might, but by waiting in supplication, Brahma. Nevertheless, the all is one, but with two attributes, Cosmon. Brahma said, O give thou to my soul, O Eolin. I am going forth to labor, be thou with me. Vede. The ever-present the ever-present Eloah said, two attributes gave I, the all-self to every man, the and the Na, negative and positive. So every man has the negative and positive within himself, right? Every self. Two attributes gave I, the all-self, to every man's self, the and the Na, the negative and positive, that he might hold discourse within himself, Vede. In seeking a wife, see to it that is her transcendent virtue, otherwise she will be as a thorn in thy side, Abraham. Until a man have in the ascendant, he shall not hear nor see the great spirit, Zarathustra. Let your young men seek employment that calleth not forth Na, but rather Om, Brahma. Oh, that's good. I really got to look into this. This will help me see some things. Hold on. Because it's a whole thought trying to develop in my head. I can just feel it right now. Hold on. I got to come back here. Okay. 11 is Te. And Te is literally a circle with a man who is like hollow. Instead of a stick man, it's like they drew him hollow where you can color him in if you choose to, but he's not colored in, right? So it's a figure of a hollow man standing on a line within a circle. And the line, of course, is at the bottom of the circle. Okay, and that's Te, panic, a representative man, the universal prayer of mankind, also one who is chosen by Etherian spirits for an earth cycle, as Zarathustra, Abraham, Brahma, Moses, Kapila, Confucius, etc. I provided for the nations in their darkness, said Jehovah, for I bring the earth into a light region in the firmament, and I send my Etherian angels to deliver them out of darkness and bondage. In my name, raise them up. In my name, raise they up men with eyes to see and ears to hear, and I proclaim unto all the inhabitants of the earth, Cosmon, mankind. All right, so 12 is C, S-I-H. And that is a circle with the arrow not necessarily coming from directly the middle, from the left to the right, but just above the middle slightly, right? And it's an arrow. It's like a hollow arrow. So if you want to color it in, you could, but it's not colored in. It's a hollow arrow pointing to the east, or what we call east, pointing this way. If you're looking at it, it's pointing to the right. Okay. And that's C, panic, one whose faith is low, one whose spirit acknowledgeth the... hold on, let me just start over. C, panic. And remember, when I say like panic or Abraham or Gal after it, it's talking about the particular language that this word is. C, and remember, panic is the first original language of man. All right. C, panic. One whose faith is low, one whose spirit acknowledgeth the gift of spirits, but not the all person. 3 persons have I found. One believeth only in earthly things, material. One in spirits of the lower heavens, spiritists. And one who have faith in the all creator, i.e. faithist, Confucius. They all rise to the density they have chosen, Confucius. The worshiper of a savior is Sui.cide. The worshiper of a god born of a woman is Sui.cide. Save a man put away the sea that is in him, he cannot rise to my emancipated heavens, said Jehovah. Save a man put away the pan, materialism that is in him, he cannot rise even in the lower heavens, but his spirit after death remaineth in his own house. What? Yo, listen, it made me think about something. Some of these accounts of different people who encounter spirits in haunted houses. And one, like, matter of fact, a couple of them were men who were rich, right? Yo, materialism, a dude that stole a bunch of money. Yo, ooh, hold up. Let me read this again. C12. It's the arrow, the hollow arrow towards the top. Okay. C. Dang, if you can't put away the materialism, you can't even rise in the lower heavens. You stay in your own house. So spirits, that's the key. You got some spirits haunting the house, right? One thing we might know, they were full of materialism. All right, my G, what you do? What couldn't you give up when you still had your flesh? Okay, C, panic. One whose faith is low, one whose spirit acknowledges. I'm sitting here talking about haunted houses. Girl, I forgot. Y'all went out that back door. Y'all scared the piss out of me. In the daylight, I be scary sometimes. Oh, Pam, pull yourself together. See, that's why I don't like to talk about demons, spirits, and stuff. Oh my God, y'all! If my heart could have jumped out my chest, I just froze like real quick. Pull it together, Pamela. Thought they was finally on their way. They finally get caught up. Look, I be thinking about this like, girl, how you gonna help rescue people when it's your turn to help deliver the hells if the little smallest noises be setting you off? Oh my God, y'all, my heart is beating real fast. Okay, that's why I don't know. Like, I be wanting to tune in a spooky hour, but I don't know that I'm gonna last all the way through. The last night they did it when Cosmo and Cal was talking about goddamn Frankie in his house. I'll never forget that story as long as I live now. Thank you, Cosmo and Cal. Listen, if y'all didn't tune into that particular video of Selah Shalom with him, and I think Malachi was up there for a little bit too, but towards the end, it's that 6-hour video. I posted it in the community section. I also posted it on Facebook as well. And it's Cosmo and Cal, and I say in there, I make notes, this is spooky hour. Jump to like the last 45 minutes of the 6 hours. Yo, it was hilarious with the stories that Selah was telling. It was really scary what Cosmo was saying happened to him at his house while growing up. And plus, it was night. It was about the spooky hour, about midnight, right? And everybody in the house asleep. And of course, you start hearing noises. I'm like, I better cut this off and go to sleep. But I couldn't go to sleep. Even after it went off, after midnight, I had to cut on a comedy just to laugh so I could go to sleep in my own house. I'm like, oh, girl, pull yourself all the way together. The Bronze Yoga Report, shalom. Right, spooky hour in the AM tickler. All right, pull myself together. Let's go back. Okay. All right. 12. That's the symbol of the hollow arrow towards the top in the circle, right? Sid, panic. One whose faith is low. Father, help me. One whose spirit acknowledgeth the gift of spirits, but not the all person. 3 persons have I found. One believeth only in earthly things, material. One in spirits of the lower heavens, spiritus. And one who hath faith in the all creator, i.e. faithless. Let me read that again. I just felt like I read that wrong. I was reading it like too fast. C, panic. One whose faith is low. One whose spirit acknowledgeth the gift of spirits, but not the all person. 3 persons have I found. One believeth only in earthly things, material. One in spirits of the lower heavens, spiritus. And one who hath faith in the all creator, i.e. faithless, Confucius. You can look at it that way. They all rise to the density they have chosen, Confucius. So whenever you die, that's as high as you go in the spiritual realm or in the astral world. You arise at the level your faith was at. If you had none, you've been hanging out in Hada for a little while. They all rise to the density they have chosen.
Sorry to interrupt, but if I die, let's say I die with the 20th highest density in the world. When I go into the spiritual land, I stay like that? Like I can't try to grow even
Yeah, you can try to grow.
Because
you should be trying to grow until you actually get it. It should no longer be trying, it should be getting it.
And there's a way to like know which level you're at, right?
Yeah, when you see the light workers come save you, you know it's time for you to go to the next level. Yo, how about, I'm glad you said that. Have y'all, I need to listen, so a couple people messaged me, and even last night, I think it may have been in Selah's video, people started talking about Astral City. Somebody told me about it last week. I forget who. It's called Astral City. Now, I fell asleep on it last night, but I saw enough to know that whoever wrote this has probably read OAHSPE and tried to put it in a movie. But the one thing, like I said, I haven't gotten to the end of it yet because I fell asleep about a little bit past halfway through, and they was like reincarnate. That was the only thing that I didn't agree with in the movie, but everything else almost hit like right on point. Like what happens to you when you die. Like dude died and he woke up in Hada based on how he lived his life, right? And so you saw all the different people who had died, who were now spirits, lost their body, and the different levels they were at, how where they were degraded or a little bit higher. And you saw the you used to call them light workers or the angels or those who are walking in line with the creator who are on higher levels come to save them, right? I was like, oh, this is interesting. They never mentioned anything about OAHSPE, never gave any references to OAHSPE, but we at page 532, and I seen a lot of what's in that movie we've read in OAHSPE. I'm like, clearly the maker of this has read it, but not maybe read it good enough because the reincarnation piece is still in there, right? But like I said, I'm not sure what comes of that because I fell asleep on it, right? So I didn't see it all the way to the end. So, but just know that's there. You know, I'm gonna go finish watching it today. But check it out, y'all. It's really, really interesting, right? But yeah, so whatever level they were when they passed, they ended up in Hada or hell when they had grown enough or suffered enough, or like talk about being caught in a knot. You know how they were deranged and stuff when they come get them out of knots. When they were rescued, they brought stretchers to get them. And when the light workers showed up, it was like the spirits who weren't ready to go. Or what I've noticed at a certain part, they chose not to go, because even at one point you saw one of the light workers, one of the angels, like why they was getting one's like, why he get to go? He died by suicide. Why he get to go? He shouldn't go. We should go before him. And so they came over and reached out to him like, come on, let's go. And it's like, and they backed up and they still cursing and everything. I'm like, yeah, they need a little bit more time in hot on my G. Go ahead and get him out of there. Now, but what's crazy is
an animated movie?
It's a movie. Listen to this. This is what made me, because I was washing dishes while I was watching. I was like, you know what? They kept mentioning this. I was like, let me put it on because I can see the TV from the kitchen while I'm washing dishes. So I was washing dishes while I'm washing it. I had to stop washing dishes. And I backed up and I'm watching. I was like, holy crap. Now listen to what they said a form of suicide is, y'all. The guy said, well, you died by suicide. But it clearly showed us when the man died, like one of the main characters of the movie. Maybe I shouldn't be telling y'all this if y'all ain't seen it. Look, Tikva, that's exactly what I was about to say, right? Tikva said, I was surprised by the people saying the suicide by food. This is what made me stop. I'm like, holy crap. Listen, the dude died in okay. This is a spoiler, right? This is a spoiler. So if you want to watch it, just mute me real quick or go scroll something else where you can't hear me. But I need to tell y'all this. Look, listen, the guy died. He had an illness, right? He got sick. And what we understand as suicide is not, he didn't take a gun, blow his brains out or anything. He didn't stab himself, fall on a sword. He didn't overdose on pills or nothing like that. He had a sickness, right? And he actually died on the operating table. It shows the whole scene where the doctors and nurses are over him. They were doing surgery and he was like bleeding from his gut, right? And so when he died, you could clearly see the blood right there. And then they just kind of covered him up. His spirit left his body, right? So when he woke up, he ended up in hell or Hada, right? But he wasn't necessarily this evil man, right? He had certain quirks about himself throughout life. You could tell as you begin to watch, you could be like, oh, dude was really kind of selfish. I'm like, Pam, put yourself together, girl. You need to help out in places. And like that movie, all I did, like I said, I didn't agree with the reincarnation part. But like I said, I didn't see it to the end to see what actually became of that. If it shows that that's wrong or whatever. But when he ended up in Hada or hell, like in the mud and stuff, they automatically recognized him as one who had committed suicide, right? And so he was like, I didn't commit suicide. So when he was rescued, right? Listen, he was rescued by the angels and taken to a hospital where they helped restore. But amidst him, other people that were getting rescued, they was all deranged, hollering and screaming, and they told him to come. And I was like, yo, this is in OAHSPE. This is exactly what happened when they get rescued from knots. And so they calm him down. But when he was healed enough.
So when people die, a knot is not where everybody goes.
No,
That's
okay.
the actual, like, that's deranged here and in spirit.
Okay, so let me
physical, right?
let me explain real quick. Okay, so say you somebody with a huge following of people, or some type of leader. Somebody, you end up in the middle of a knot. It seems like leaders end up in the middle of a knot, right? Because you've amassed this kingdom to yourself, whether it's spiritual, physical, whether you run a business, a church, or whatever. The leader of that place who has a following of people, if you're teaching your following of people what's wrong, that's leading them away from the creator, that's essentially a kingdom you've created for yourself, right? And you have an unrighteous or unright kingdom full of people who now look at you as a savior. When you die, you go, and all those people under the sound of your voice, under your care, in your kingdom, when they die as well, like y'all go to the same place. And the leader, when they die, they go looking, or okay, so maybe not necessarily, they may come looking for a Jeremiah. Not saying that you're going to end up in a knot, because hopefully you will not. Or let's use.
There ain't no bad guys over here.
Okay, so look, so you know how the church, they look for Jesus. When they die, show me where Jesus is at, right? So they taken to the place, and what we know, Jesus is a false Lord God. False God, false Lord God, whatever title. And so they go to the place of like belief, and because they can't raise up any higher than that, right? And a lot of times, especially if you were trying to teach them what was right, but you haven't necessarily helped deliver your people, y'all all go to the same place, and that's essentially a hell for you. And everybody pretty much just pile on top of you. You know, football, somebody got the football, they tackle him, he down, and everybody come pile. That's essentially what it is. It's a football pile with the leader in the middle, the person that held the ball, right? Suffocating, deranged, all that stuff, and it's a knot, right? And it just grows bigger and bigger. Everybody that follows your belief in your kingdom, and by the time you get rescued, it's no telling how long you will spend in that knot, right?
So it's like the same.
It's almost like a.
That was what you talked about before. They have, like, some people that don't believe, or they have a bad way of living. They'll go to this kingdom. They'll think it's all this, and that. But once they live there for a while, they'll start to see this is a lot more chaos than it is beauty.
Right, exactly. They essentially realize this was a lie. I lived a lie, right? In order to raise up out of it, if you were a leader, you can't go anywhere until you help raise up everybody else to your level of faith or your level of belief in accordance with the truth, with the creator. When y'all get on that same level, and you're no longer their leader, but you literally walk side by side, hand in hand as brothers and sisters, you can all go together. But they ain't gonna come get you and not take them. And even when you're restored and your people still deranged, you get that same kingdom back. Now, go get your kingdom back. They be like, I want it not. They be like, no, I don't want that. I want to be a servant. No. You done built the whole kingdom. You go back and be the king, but now lead them righteously so they can go in the ways of the creator, and everybody can raise higher. Right? Okay.
I'm be honest, I can't wait to explore
Derry Sim 777. Shalom. Yare Ya. Yeah, Astral City. So let me go back to this real quick, right? So, They show these scenes where when they rescue these people from Hada, when it's their time to come out, they're deranged and stuff. So the guy, when he came to, or he was healed enough, he was wondering, he said, why I did not die by suicide? I didn't die by suicide. And they just kind of looked at him like, bro, you died by suicide, right? And so here's what made me stop. He said, there are things, the one of the guys who rescued him, the guy that kind of held out his hand towards the other spears, like, he don't get to go, he died by suicide. And he came over there looking like, come on, brothers, you can come too, let's go. And they shrieked back. That guy right there that went out, put his hand out.
Is this on Amazon?
Yes, on Amazon. I purchased it. Yeah, you go watch it. He said, he began to explain, I'm gonna just kind of sum it up. He said, there are things that happen in life, like when you have your flesh, like anger, jealousy, strife, all those things. He said, these are things that affect the spirit, right? And he said, and what did he say? He said, these are things like all those things, malice, all those things that literally turn you against other people. He said these things affect the spirit, but they're not medically classified where they should be. But these things actually cause sickness in your flesh, right? And so whether you have this anger issue, you lashing out at people, you don't know how to treat people right, eventually it starts taking a toll on your body. You can have like major stresses, hair and stuff falling out, not realizing these are coming from like emotional things that you have not gotten control over. It literally makes the flesh sick. But not only that, if you have habits, it does something to your soul as well. You can die by suicide with food. Eating yourself to death, not getting control of your eating habits, right, is a form of death by suicide, but suicide by food, because you couldn't get control of this habit. So people, it's the same thing, people who drink themselves to death. If you drink yourself to death, you literally died through suicide by alcoholic substance, right? You killed yourself with alcohol. Some people kill themselves with metal. Some people kill themselves with pills, right? Those are fast deaths. But the slow deaths, we don't talk about too much. But it's still death by suicide, right? So I'm just like, whew. I had to stop washing dishes. I'm like, girl, get your stuff together. Beat my own self up. I'm like, yo, I am going on a fast right now before the movie even ends. I'm just like, yo, cake is not going to be the winner over my life. We're going to do this. Look, that movie, it literally, it hit me in all parts of my sha-na-na that I didn't even know existed deep down in my sha-na-na. You got to watch. I'm going to finish watching it today. Like I said, the movie called Astral City. I definitely know it's on Amazon. I went to search for it on Netflix. It wasn't there, but it was on Amazon. So I just went ahead and purchased it. You can rent it for like $4, like $3.99, or you can just purchase it, I think, for maybe like $9.99 if I remember. I just went ahead and purchased it because so many people had been talking about it. I'm like, yo, this literally is the creator. This literally must have read OAHSPE. With the exception, like I said, of the reincarnation part. But like I say, I'm not sure what comes of that, of the reincarnation, if they get that part straight towards the end, because I fell asleep toward the end, because I went upstairs. I cut it off down here when I got done and just went upstairs and lay across the bed, and then I was out. So yeah, y'all have got to watch that, right? Y'all so fit. Shalom, shalom. Shebrew, yes, thank you. Astral City. Definitely it's on Amazon. Y'all go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. Okay, so back to this. Back to this.
We'll be back after this quick ad.
What ad? You got an ad to present?
Oatmeal.
Okay, thank you for the blueberry oatmeal ad, Isaiah. Okay, y'all. So back to, let me just read 12 again. Sid. Okay. That's how we got into this. This symbol right here, Sid, S-I-H. Remember, this is the book of Being. I think I'm saying that right. B-I-E-N-E, Tablet of Being. It's plate 70 on page 533. And this chapter, Tablet of Being, goes with this chart. And we are on verse 12, which goes along. It's actually the 13th symbol because one is skipped for now. We didn't see it, so we skipped it. I realized the number, y'all helped me realize the numbering was off about one. And so we went to look for Eolum, but it wasn't in here yet. So I'm not sure if it's going to refer back to it, but we'll see. But it's 12. But if you're counting, you start with the dot and go over from left to right. And we're down on the second row. See the man standing on the line? The one right next to him. The circle with the arrow towards the top, the hollow arrow. That's 12. That's the symbol of Si, S-I-H. And that's in panic language. And it means one whose faith is low, one whose spirit acknowledges the gift of spirits, but not the all person. 3 persons have I found. One believeth only in earthly things, material, one in spirits of the lower heavens, spiritist, and one who have faith in the all-creator, i.e. Faithists, Confucius. They all rise to the density they have chosen, Confucius. The worshiper of a savior is Cide. Remember, Cide is one whose faith is low. If you worship a savior, your faith is low, right?
Mom,
Yes.
look. Let me see.
Okay. They all rise to the density they have chosen, Confucius. The worshiper of a savior is Cide. The worshiper of a god born of a woman is Cide. Save a man, put away the Cide that is in him. He cannot rise to my emancipated heavens, said Jehovah. Save a man, put away the pan, materialism that is in him. He cannot rise even in the lower heavens, but his spirit after death remaineth in his own house, saith Jehovah, a symbol of a horizontal spear. Yeah, opposite of what religion teaches, right? Communicator, yaqui, shalom, shalom. Listen, what'd you say? Oh, okay. All right, the next one, 13, is Yi, Y-I. And this symbol is a circle, and it looks like you can say a upside down U, like this, or maybe like a horseshoe, but it's hollowed out just like the arrow was. So if you wanted to color it in, you can, but it's not colored in. It's just a hollow horseshoe, a upside down U. And that's Yi, or Yai. Panic, a hollow crescent, emblem of wisdom, a badge of honor bestowed by a high priest, Vede, one of the sacred sounds in the Vedic language. Tu Shia, Fanis, Tu-Shi-Ya, Hebrew, the secret password to the dark chamber, key. All right, so the next symbol is a circle with a tree. It's like a thick bark going up and little branches going out to the side, and all of the bark and the branches are hollowed as well, right? And that's, hold on, wait. What's it? Yeah, E, I apostrophe Y-I. Panic, life per se. E, Zeri, Chi, Gao, K, Fus, Chai, Fanis, Chai, Ibra, Chai, Hebrew. Ci, Vede, Hai Idin, Chine, On Yi E, Algonquin, a tree without substance, tree of life, a place of registry, a family record, the origin of Iyi, life, who knoweth, panic. Jehovah said, infants had gone to heaven before the earth was, and had grown to be wise men and women, but they had not tasted the fruit of the tree of life. And when the earth was ripe unto giving mortal birth to man, these angels alighted on the earth. Jehovah said unto them, eat ye not of the tree of life, lest in that day ye become bound to the earth. In that day angels could clothe themselves with corporal forms by majesty of their own wills, and in innocence they mingled with the people, Asu, who were of the earth, and they were tempted for wisdom's sake, and did eat of the fruit of the tree of life, and they beheld their own nakedness. Jehovah said, by the love ye bear unto your heirs, ye shall be bound to the earth 6 generations, and it was so. Abraham. So even OAHSPE talks about the fruit that's been eaten in the garden was of a sexual nature, right? Remember, we talked about this a while ago. It wasn't like apples and oranges and mangoes, that kind of fruit. It's the fruit between your legs fruit that they partook of, right? Listen, let me read this again. That's 14. I'll go over the definitions in each language, i.e., panic, life per se, il, zero, was it zero? Zero, chi, gal, k, fus, chae, fanis, chai, ibra, chai, Hebrew, ti, vede, hayidin, chine, on ye, algonquin. A tree without substance, tree of life, a place of registry, a family record, the origin of life, who knoweth, panic. Jehovah said, infants had gone to heaven before the earth was, and had grown to be wise men and women, but they had not tasted of the fruit of the tree of life. And when the earth was ripe unto giving mortal birth to man, these angels alighted to the earth. So these infants, or these angels, are brethren that we read about in Genesis. They didn't come from earth, right? They actually came from another planet, right? They came to earth when earth was ripe for mortals to actually be living here, right? And those are the ones that's interesting. I'm gonna be looking into this, right? They said they came to heaven, or they came to the S world not having tasted the having a sexual experience, right? And they say they wanted it for wisdom's sake. Well, we learned about everything else, ain't we? Earth is the place to go check this out. Listen, tree of life, a place of registry, a family record, the origin of life, who knoweth, panic. Jehovah said, infants had gone to heaven before the earth was, and had grown to be wise men and women, but they had not tasted of the fruit of the tree of life. And when the earth was ripe unto giving mortal birth to man, these angels alighted to the earth. Jehovah said unto them, and he was talking to the angels, not to Asu, right? I mean, I guess you should have said it to Asu too, so they wouldn't be tempted by the angels, right? Jehovah said unto them, eat ye not of the tree of life. Yes, Tony?
After you're done, you can let me end it.
Yeah, I'll let you end it today, huh? Jehovah said unto them, eat ye not of the tree of life. Okay. Eat ye not of the tree of life, lest in that day ye become bound to the earth. In that day, angels could clothe themselves with corporal forms by majesty of their own wills, and in innocence they mingled with the people Asu, who were of the earth, and they were tempted for wisdom's sake, and did eat of the fruit of the tree of life, and they beheld their own nakedness. Jehovah said, by the love ye bear unto your heirs, ye shall be bound to the earth 6 generations. And it was so. Abraham. This is interesting because in the book of Enoch, chapter 15, it talks about this a little bit, about being bound to the book of Enoch tell you, you're going to be bound to the earth for some generations if you do this. But matter of fact, for your love of your sons and daughters, that's what it says in the book of Enoch. And after, by the love ye bear unto your heirs, after your, it has reference number 11 down at the bottom. It says, unto your own heirs, right? Jehovah said, by the love ye bear unto your heirs, ye shall be bound to the earth 6 generations. And it was so. Abraham. So I guess that would make sense. You ain't gonna go down here and father babies and just be up out of here and leave. You're gonna be there for a while. Just see it through. Watch them grow, you know. But you're gonna see what's gonna become of what you did too. They're gonna be a pain in the neck down there. All right. The next symbol, 15, is vil or vril, V-R-I-L, panic. And that is a circle with 2 hollow X's up at the top, right? Left towards the top of the circle. Earthly desire in abstract or per se. Or earthly desire in abstract or per se. By indulgence in begetting shall man be bound after death. By not begetting, how should he know all the earth? Vede. Earth desire is not evil, but spe shall rule over him. Zarathustra. Earthly inventions Earthly inventions being to gratify earthly desires, are they good? Confucius. Jehovah said, seek to do all possible things. For this reason have I given earthly desires. Gal. Shall a man not eat and drink and sleep? Now I say unto you, there is an earth body and a spirit to all men, and whatever ye do unto one for its good, rendereth good to the other, and whatever ye do unto one for its injury, injureth the other also. Moses. If the spirit man maketh the corporal man to move, doth it not also make the desires of the flesh? Is the flesh capable of desire? If so, is not flesh father to spirit? Hold on, let me read that again. Jehovah saith, seek to do all possible things. For this reason have I given earthly desires. Gal. Shall a man not eat and drink and sleep? Now I say unto you, there is an earth body and a spirit to all men, and whatever ye do unto one for its good, rendereth good to the other, and whatever ye do unto one for its injury, injureth the other also. Moses. If the spirit man maketh the corporal man to move, doth it not also make the desires of the flesh? Is the flesh capable of desire? If so, is not flesh father to spirit? All right, next symbol. OP. It's a circle with a heart up towards, not necessarily up towards the center of the middle, but just off to the side, just a little bit to the right. So it's a circle with a heart, with another heart on the inside, and it's hollowed out, and it's OP, OPE. And that's in panic. The central cause, love. By love only moveth any man. Even in anger he moveth not, but by the love that appeaseth it. Abraham. The all good to be, Phanes, Tob, Ibra, Oi, Chine, Guo, Algonquin. The good that bringeth together, Hayop, Vede. If man love not, he would not congregate, and therefore war not. If man love not, he would not congregate, and therefore war not. But since he delighteth in war, I will be ruler over him to that end. Aramanius, i.e., Satan. Man would not give, but because he loveth to do so. What honor then shall a man take to himself for helping his neighbor? Confucius. Did not the Great Spirit make all things by giving? But what love actuated him? Wherefore then shall man applaud him? Confucius. By glorifying the Father for his love, do we not all grow in love? And is not this the highest virtue? Confucius. The fool saith, why shall I praise the Creator? Had he not gratified his love by creating, then would he not have created. This does not concern me. To find what would make men loving and good toward one another, is that not the greatest wisdom? Therefore I honor the wisdom of the ancients in singing praise to the Creator. Confucius. Though a man cannot love all men, is it not wise that they who love one another, having some virtues alike, shall become a people unto themselves? Moses. Okay. The next symbol is, hold on. It's a circle with a hand. It looks like a right hand horizontal, and it like this. And it almost look like it's an X, like right here. I don't know if it's an X, we'll see. But it's a hand in a circle, a right hand in a circle. And verse 17 says, hand or hand, H-A-H apostrophe N-D, or HAN''HD. Panic, a hand. English, a symbol of values. 18 is so, which is a foot. It could be right or left. No, it looks like a left foot because it's kind of darkened, so that maybe could be representative of the arch, whatever, in the foot. So maybe like a left foot, a left bottom lower of the leg with the foot. So panic, a foot, a symbol of value. So the hand and the foot is representative of values. 19 is a mouth, right? It's a circle with lips like this, right? And that is 19, mouth, a symbol of values, mouth, English. 20 is fee. It's an eye. It looked like it's the left eye. Yeah, it looks like it's the left eye in a circle. A symbol of values. 21, his song, Panic. Remember, every time we see that, we know it involves a snake, right? His song, Panic. A serpent's head and tongue, a symbol of values. And that is exactly what's here. It's a serpent looking in the east direction, a serpent's head with his hissing tongue, right? Okay. 22. Iod. I-O-D. And Iod or God. Remember, God is spelled G-H-A-D or G-O-D. And it literally says Iod, God, or God. Panic. And that is, it looked like a penguin head. Hold on. It's a circle. And it's a person. It looked like a person, really looked like a penguin. It looked like a penguin to me. It's kind of hollowed out at the bottom, but one of the legs, the left leg, if you're looking at it, the left leg is colored in dark. The arms are colored in dark. And half the face is colored in dark, like with an eye, like it's a cyclops or something. Right there in the middle of the unshaded head, right? And a portion of the left leg is not shaded in with, like the left leg is shaded in halfway, but diagonally, right? So you got the inside of the leg shaded in, and the rest of the leg up towards the torso over to the right leg. All of that is hollow, right? So you got this half colored in man penguin looking guy. And that's 22. And it says Ayad or God, a figure or form, a female figure. Oh, I guess it's a female. A female figure unlike anything under the sun. Point. Both male and female made they their ayada and stood them by the roadside. Is, I-Z. In the infant age of the world, Ayad or God was made of wood or stone, Gal. In the time of Cephas, they placed him in the sky, Gal. Anything that is worshipped, having form or figure, ceremonies of high noon, God, Arabenia. A man with spirit gifts, God or God. Okay, so this time God is spelled as Gad, G-A-D. Gad or God, a man who denies he had a natural father. In those days, the king persuaded the people that their sire was the unseen creator, and all the kings were called Giod and Vede. Because ye have made idols of kings, calling them gods, so call ye the all-like God, Abraham. Whoever saith the incomprehensible is God, blasphemeth before him, Zarathustra. Is he small like a man? Gal. They have blasphemed, calling their iota the Elohim, the creator, Arabenia. I say unto you, it is equally blasphemous to bring the mighty one down to a form and figure like your God, Helest. They seek to confound the unlearned by persuading them that Ioa and their God is one and the same person, Fus. Have not many spirits appeared within the temples, saying, I am God, and ye are in my keeping? Yod, a mortal king. Yoda, king spirit in atmosphere. Gal, as it hath been declared of old, so do I now declare unto you, which is, that the lower heavens are next to the earth, and are full of kingdoms, and the kings of these gods, Hellas, God, a tyrant in atmosphere, for as a king is on earth, so is a God in the lower heavens, and so is a Lord. Whoever saith before thee, O God, I bow my head, selleth himself to Osiris. Moses, whoever amongst you doeth sacrifice to the Lord are of his dominion. Suffer none of my people to marry therewith. Abraham, have not many of the tyrants of Iam or Hades returned to earth and proclaimed themselves Lord and God? What more testimony requireth any man that none of them are the all light? Is not Iowa wider than all the earth? Phus, we swear unto thee, O Jehovah, that we will not call on the name, nor worship, nor adore any person or thing called God or Lord, but thee only, O Jehovah. Moses' ceremonies. Moses, being old, said, above all things, preserve the sacred password, Iowa, inviolate. Neither suffer it to come to the unlearned, lest they be confounded by the subtlety of the God of the Egyptians. Was it not because the unlearned desired a form or figure to worship that the Lord, and after Lord in square brackets says Osiris, that the Lord Osiris returned to Egypt, making slaves of the Egyptians, both on earth and in his kingdom, Hawi, the lower heavens? But that the Levites may be friendly with me, suffer them to worship the Lord their God. Moses, being about to give up his soul, said, I feel a thorn pricking my side, and I know it is the Leviticans. They, being not eligible to the secret right, Elohim, will in time come to possess the country and substitute their Lord God for the great I am, the all, Eloi, Iyad, a stone figure by the roadside without sexual parts, and it is called God, Egypt. Theos and Zeus, Greek and Latin, a being that is worshipped. Yeah, I'm about to end it in a minute. A being that is worshipped, said to be in the figure of a man. You know what, Zay? I'm sorry. You can't. I told Bella already. My bad, homie. My bad. That was my fault. I should have told you no in the first place. Bella had already asked. Okay. Theos and Zeus, Greek and Latin. A being that is worshipped, said to be in a figure of a man. He has a throne in the lower heavens. Dais, like the Yod of the ancient idolaters, hath become a king in one of the corners of the lower heavens. Vede. O Om, thou all present and boundless, will man on earth ever distinguish? O Neoma, forms and figures must die. Vede. God, English. An idol in heaven, said to be in the figure and form of man, sitting on a throne. He is believed by people in darkness to be the creator of all things. They ignorantly blaspheme against the great spirit Jehovah, Cosmon, calling him God. And this is where we're going to pause at today, y'all, because I didn't even realize we were over the hour mark. This is good. I really like this. Look, we only got a couple more. Hold on. Let's see. Look, shoot, we on 23. It's 30 of them. So let's just, hold on. Give me a few more minutes. We're just going to finish this little tablet of being, and then we'll pause. And we'll start the tablet of key tomorrow. All right. So 23. The next one is, beside that penguin looking dude, is OAN, right? OAN. And it's a circle with the line, and it's two figures, right? And they're back to back, right? And they look like they sitting in a chair, but they're not sitting in a chair. They look like they're just squatting, right? But they back to back, but not touching. There's a space between them, right? So they're back to back with a space between them, looking like they're sitting. and it's called Oan, O-A-N. And that's 23, and it says, Oan, panic, faith in man only, sign, two men leaning against each other, persons who have risen in intelligence but not in S. Remember, S is spirit. You rise in intelligence of earthly things but not in spirit, right? You leaning on your own understanding is what scripture says, right? That's a good symbol for that. Okay. That's a good symbol for that. Listen, Tootie, don't get on my back. Let me start it over. Oan, panic. It's called Oan in the panic language. Oan, panic. Faith in man only. Sign, two men leaning against each other. Persons who have risen in intelligence, but not in S. Remember, S is spirit. Faith in man only. One who believes man is the highest of all things in the world. One who believes there is no person or thing or thing of personality but man. They being Oans indulged in, and then there's a line, right? So, where they indulged in, the line could be whatever. They indulged in whatever, right? Because they think they are the highest. They don't even believe in spirit. It's just, man is high, we do whatever, thus thou wilt. They being Oans indulged in whatever, although they were men only, saying, there is none above us to see us or command us. Fools. They said, shall I not indulge? Look, all I had to do was keep reading. They said, shall I not indulge in whatsoever I choose, being an Oan? Chime. Oan, one whose philosophy is in his own conceit and indulgence. Key. I do solemnly swear before this order, Oan, that I will never pray to, nor ejaculate to, nor of, nor for any person save man, and especially not to the gods nor lords of heaven, nor to the unknown and imperishable. That's a right of Sodom. In brackets after that, it said, clearly, right? Because they, see what it says, ejaculating to. That is a right of Sodom, right? Okay, Hoan, that leads to Uksa, particularly lust. What was Uksa? Hold on. Uksa was for, stop, Tootie. Uksa, standing armies. That Hoan, that leads to Uksa or war. Well, Uksa is war. Standing armies is not justice accorded to him who is mighty as Fus. They not only wage war, but in times of peace, they maintain armies ready for more war. Come therefore away from them and have faith in Jehovah, and I will deliver you into another country. Abraham. Okay. Hoan, that leads to Uksa, particularly lust, the impulse of the flesh they called the highest, Moa, Gal. They threw aside their clothes, going naked like Asu of old, saying, is not all indulgence my inheritance? Miak. They fell from industry and decency, saying, we will have no forms nor rights, being free. And they became the prey of spirits of idleness and lust, who feast on sinful mortals. Egypt. Tootie, get down. Spirits of lust came to the Onans and, Spirits of lust came to the Onans and reclothed themselves in mortal forms and indulged in lust with them. And Moses forbade them from coming amongst his people. Arabania. The Cowans said, let us go stealthily to the tent of Moses and his priests and learn the secret of his spirit power. The Cowans said, why shall man follow Moses? Are not the spirits who come to us as good as his? Akia. Yoanyi said, if I love meat, I will eat meat. Now, we ain't fooling with Moses. We want some meat to eat. Look, hold on. Yoanyi said, if I love meat, I will eat meat. If I love strong drink, I will have strong drinks. If I love sexual indulgence, then will I have sexual indulgence. Who can restrain me? Are not my desires well created? I should not deny them. Vede. And the Droogs came upon the Yoani for their philosophy and had divided them amongst themselves, one against another, and their progeny became Turiani or Turanian, right? So earlier we learned, and clearly we know this stuff is true, right? If you had any kind of encounter with anything spiritual, you know, when you, especially, it's easy to see with people who drink a lot, right? You can easily see them getting taken over by people that say that some people say they lose their mind, but they literally call alcohol spirits. Why? Because when you drink it, you open up the door. You literally open the gates of your soul up for them to come in. That's why some people, they black out. They don't remember what they did. Why? Because the spirits came in, put your native spirit into abeyance or in the sunken place, and they drove your body around town doing what they so ever wilt. And you caught all the charges and tickets for it, right? Now your hind pot's in jail for drinking and driving, and you done murdered somebody because somebody else was driving your car while you were blacked out. Literally driving your body and probably driving your physical car. But you were in the band, or the sunken place. Look, y'all better wake up. Look, hold on. Hop up, poop. I'm almost done. The Cowan, let me go back up a little bit. The Cowans said, let us go stealthily to the tent of Moses and his priests and learn the secret of his spirit power. The Cowans said, why shall man follow Moses? Are not the spirits who come to us as good as his? Akia. Yoanyi said, if I love meat, I will eat meat. If I love strong drink, I will have strong drink. If I love sexual indulgence, then I will have sexual indulgence. Who can restrain me? Are not my desires well created? I should not deny them. Vede. And the Droogs came upon the Yoani for their philosophy. Oh, y'all believe that way? Oh, we found a whole bunch of people we can inhabit. Let's go. We love their philosophy. And the Droogs, remember the Droogs are, it depends on how it's being used, but here is capital letters, right? So when Droogs is D-R-U-K-S, when Droogs is capitalized, it's talking about disembodied spirits, or humans who no longer live in the flesh. But remember, the spirit never dies. They come and inhabit them, right? They take over your body. But when it's saying Droogs, and it's lowercase, it's just talking about spirits who are being evil, or people who are acting like Droogs, have the evil inclination, right? Okay. And the Droogs came upon the Yoani for their philosophy and divided them amongst themselves, one against another, and their progeny became Turani or Turanian. All right. So the next symbol, 24, is B, B-I. And it looks like a unicorn dragon type thing, maybe, right? And it's facing, if you're looking at it, it's facing the east with his head down, standing on the line, and got like the hair like flowing from his back with the horns, whatever, and the tail. Okay, so that is B, panic, 2 and 1, a sign in the order of Oan, and mockery of Anrameya. Anrameida. Hold on. Did I say that right? Anrameida. Okay. The next symbol is Nu, panic. And it looks like it looks like a skeleton of like an animal with horns, right? You ever seen like in old movies, you know how you see skeleton heads of humans? And sometimes they put animals as a skeleton, like the long head with the horns. That's what it looked like, and it's hollowed out, and it's new in you. Yes, Tootie?
After you're done, where are you going?
Oh, we ain't going nowhere yet. Okay. Hold on, Tootie. We'll talk about this in a minute. Nu, panic, organs of sex. They said all the living are begotten by indulgence. To worship the organs of indulgence is the highest worship. Arabania is not the all creator, but Nu. And they made images and idols of Nu and set them by the roadsides, both in their cities and in the country. Yea, they made small images of Nu, and their women and children went into the marketplaces selling them. Egypt in time of Moses, Gal. Some of them having shame in their souls made another image of Nu and gave it head and horns. Key. All right, we got a few more. 26 is Fus. And it looks like a knife. If you're looking at it coming from the left side. Actually, it looks like kind of like a folding knife, but it's extended out. It's Fus, F-U-S. And that says Fus, panic, and enforced religion. By sword and by fire am I established. Fus, the court language of, the court language of a period, the written law. I was about to joke on the Christians, but I ain't going to do that. But I am going to say this. They symbol should be the Fus. It's a forced religion, but not so much forced to where like it was in older times, right? It's forced by manipulation, where it make it seem like it's not forced, but you choose it, right? Intuitive goat, shalom, sis. Look, okay. 27, and it's 30 of them, y'all. We're on 27. Yom, Y-O, hold on. Yeah, it just looks different. Y-O-M. And it looks like a head of a man within a circle, and it's hollowed out. The eyes are hollowed out, and it has his hair that's like sticking up. A bunch of straight lines. And that is Yom, panic. An idol made the heathen to represent Om. That don't make sense. An idol made the heathen to represent Om. An idol made the heathen to represent Om, Vede. Yom, profane, Fanis. Also, Gom, panic, goddess of lust, Fanis. All right, 28 is E-hate. Hold up. It looks like there are two more between. It looked like it's skipping. Hold on. Here's another one that skipped. After Yom, there is Hagom, which is a man, that same man from the previous one, but he's turned to the side. He's facing looking left, but it doesn't have a definition. But I'm sure, you know what? It's probably just because it's Hagom. The previous one was Yom. This is Hagom. It's probably just a derivative of the previous one, of the idol made by the heathen, right? Okay. And the one after that is Hote, H-O-T-E. There is not a symbol, a definition for this symbol, but it looks like a circle with, you know how black people use pick for their afros? It looked like the top part of a pick. It's just like this. So like this part, forget the bottom part where you can, right? It's just this part, the fingers of the pick. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can see. But it's like the fingers of a pick. It's like it's like one pointing to the east with the pick fingers point to the east. And one actually at the top, it looks like a M, but is the last pick finger of it is not connected to the rest of it. So that one actually looks like a upside down E. Well, with the letters, the points facing down to the south, with the pick decided where it actually looks like M-I, me. And you have the other pick hand down here in the corner, like the 5 o'clock position, with the points facing toward the 3 o'clock position. But that's Hote, H-O-T-E. There's not a definition for that one. And then the next one, which picks back up with the symbols, the definition, is E-hate, panic. E'' hate, H-A-T-E. And that's panic, a sign and not real. As a picture of a foot is not a foot. A picture of the sun is not the sun, Gal. And this is it actually has a hand. It looks like a hand coming from the east and like a sun. or it could be an eye with eyelashes. Yeah, 'cause it looks more like an eye with eyelashes without the dot in the middle of it. All right, so that's hate. And then the next symbol is Eho, IH''O, panic, upward or written sign. And it's a hand facing up. It looks like a right hand up like this.
Mom.
And it's Eho. And that's upward or written sign. Hold on, Tootie. And the last one, 30, is Oag, panic, downward or written sign. And it's that same circle with the hand upside down now. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of the book, The Tablet of Being, on plate 70. All right. That was pretty good. I've come to like these little definitions with the symbols that go along with it. 35. All right. That's pretty long for a Monday, but we got through it. All right, beautiful people. It is Monday, August the 29th, 2022, day 198 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1216. We are reading the OAHSPE, and inside the OAHSPE, we are at the book of Safa. Within the book of Safa is many smaller books and tablets, and this was the book, the tablet of Being, right? And we started on page 531 and ended on page 535. Tomorrow we'll pick up with the tablet of Ki. And it's another tablet with symbols and stuff. So I'm going to take a picture of it today so you can see it today. That way, if you don't have the book, you can like print it out and follow along. But I don't know how in the world I'm going to describe those, because they look like Chinese letters and stuff. So y'all just going to need to have it, and we'll just go along numbering it. All right, beautiful people. All right. Joanne. Shalom, sis. Hold on. Where's she at? I just saw somebody say hi to her, but I ain't see her. There she go. I will pray for your mom, sis. I'm going to text you. All right. Get down. I'm just checking to see if I make sure I miss nobody's question. All right, beautiful people. Oh, new moon. You know what? Hold on. I ain't checked. I fell asleep last night. Hold on. I did. That's the honest truth. Hold on. Let me see something. Let me check my references. Everybody else I know that's watching. Let me see if somebody posted real quick. Hold on. Let me see. New moon. Tootie. I'll be watching tonight. Hold on.
Mom. Daddy is stronger than Jeremiah and Mom.
Daddy's stronger than Jeremiah.
No, Jeremiah is stronger than Daddy.
I don't think so, girl. Let's see. Yeah, they saw it last night. I fell asleep. I missed it, y'all. I told y'all I didn't make it through the end of the movie. Okay. Yep, it was spotted last night. New moon was spotted last night. It has been confirmed. They even confirmed it over in Israel too. Everybody's seen it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Did you grab no white washcloths and towels from under the dryer? Those white washcloths and towels still. Those was my washcloths.
Yeah, I know. I did, but I set them. I thought I set them in. No, they're not in the closet. Somebody, I don't know who did. Maybe your dad grabbed it, but I knew that was yours. Mine had like a striped shirt in there.
Well, I was making sure because I counted how many towels I needed just for me and Jay for our week. Yeah.
Well, if they not in your room, they're not in the hall closet, and they not down here in this one. Your daddy definitely put them in ours. All right, yes, beautiful people. I missed it, but I'm double checking with everybody, and it was spotted. So the Sabbath has rotated, right? All right, so for this next moon cycle, and I'll post it up. The next moon cycle, Sabbath has moved to Sundays, right?
Mom, this is just.
Hold on.
Mom, what is this? A
What is
sun?
what, girl?
What is it? A sun or a
It's the sun.
But there's a moon and
Okay, which means we would not be here on Sundays now for this next moon cycle, beautiful people. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see. Today. Let's see. A prayer of praise for the Creator before we get up out of here. Let's see. Ooh. Hold on, let me look up this term real quick before I see it and say it wrong. Be looking stupid. Hold on.
Mom, what are you gonna do? Let me look up Disney World.
Hold on. Okay, yeah, I got the term right. Which would go, look, which will go with the whole food eating, right? Okay, listen. Father. Well, darn it. That's selfish. It had, Okay, so I was about to say, Father, help us not to commit harikari on ourselves, right? So we learned that when I was telling you about Astral City, there are multiple ways to, it sounds horrible, multiple ways that people commit suicide, not just with like pill popping and, taking a bullet to the head and stuff like that, self-inflicted wounds or whatever, jumping off bridges, whatever, right? But you can also slowly, those are the fast routes to the S world, to the spirit world, taking yourself out. Then you're going to realize when you get there, holy crap, I should have kept my body. Maybe I could have bypassed this level. Because if you do that, what you probably trying to get away from is just going to flood you like nothing else has ever flooded you. Though you thought that flooded you in your mind while you still had your earth body, right? But there is a way that people slowly commit suicide. Alcohol, drugs. Some drugs that get you there real fast, right? So that's a fast suicide. Some people try drugs, them hard drugs, one time and it kills them instantly, right? So that's a form of faster suicide. Drugs can be faster or slow. Alcohol, but one which was most astounding, right? You can die suicide by suicide via food. That's a slow death, right? So we want to get all our habits worked out in order so they're no longer habits and our flesh is not ruling us, right? So let's say this. That's still kind of selfish. I don't want to refer it to us, just who the Creator is, just being, you know what, Father, you were just great all by yourself in all things. You are, hold on, wait. Just give me a second. Let me give out the praise to the Creator.
On the book?
Because I let her sit here. All right, Father, you are the first, the last, and everything in between. All right. That's it for today, y'all. I love y'all. Let me go ahead and get out of here. But I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Malachi Maccabee, shalom. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. Go ahead, Andy girl.